everybody, this is Gian. There's a now showing on top of me. Hi, this is Gian again for our online experience live stream for our very special episode tonight, which is actually about drones. So, first person flying ba? Tama ba ako, Jeff? First person viewing pala. First person viewing for drones. May nakaharang talaga sa ulo ko na now showing. So, alam naman natin lahat na when we start, especially those people who love to travel a lot, there's a big difference when we come out with like a video or a travel video that has all these drone shots. Our travel video becomes a bit more epic, becomes more parang may depth, parang may more excitement, may adrenaline rush. And many of us, actually, some of the people that I know and some travelers that I know invested on buying the DJIs, the DJI drones na hindi na siya yung malalaki, ngayon yung maliliit na lang, yung pwedeng hand carry. And they use that for their travel videos, to do a lot of aerial shots. And it's amazing when you combine all the videos together. It comes out really well and it's really amazing, no? However, there's another side of drones that I think I personally witnessed and experienced as well, that I really fell in love. That's the reason why we invited our guest for tonight. Because I don't know if you're familiar with Star Wars, no? And siguro kung lumaki ka sa Star Wars, natutuwa ka sa mga aerial, yung mga ships, and then yung mga first-person point of view nila habang lumilipad. And I have a feeling na parang ganun yung dating ng mga drones that we can actually do. And you wear these goggles and you can actually fly it similarly, like very fast. And it's not like at saka yung itsura niya is very unique. Mukha talaga siya yung parang mga spaceship na aircraft na type na ano. Kaya natuwa rin ako that we can actually do that. And I've seen, I'm not sure if there's a lot of there are Filipinos who actually do that kind of racing that they do inside mga buildings, but I'm sure they have, no. And the guy who I'm invited over to share his experience and to share his talent and passion project for drones, he's been doing it for several years already, and he does it himself. He creates the drone. He actually constructs it. As you saw in the earlier video, he's the one who does it, and he has actually a YouTube channel for drones, no. And it's really very, very cool, because something that you make and you actually make it fly, that's not, hindi lahat ng tao kaya gawin yun. So this guy, I have hands down impressed with this guy, an amazing person. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you actually my best friend. He's actually one of the guys who started out Experience Philippines as well with me, and that's name is Jeffrey Louie. Hi, Jeff.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. Nice to be on the show. Thank you for having me again. It's great to be here talking to everyone, getting to share yung passion natin. English ba tayo or English?
Pwede ka mag-Tagalog, Jeff. Pwede ka mag-Tagalog. Baka mag-low speed sila sa'yo.
Medyo Tagalog na lang para ma-share ko sa lahat. Hopefully, maraming mapag-tune in na maybe just interested in getting into drones or already started into drones. So, ayun.
Yep.
Hello. Unang nag-comment si Mark. Kasama namin na pilot whenever we fly. Shout out to Philippines rin. So yung isa sa mga admin, leaders, and founders ng
Saan po kayo nagpapalipad ng FPV? May tanong ka agad, Jeff. Ang bilis naman yung mga tanong. Teka lang. I love you, Jeff. Teka lang, yung asawa muna. Mag-greet mo na yung asawa.
Asawa. Hi,
Carl, baka pagpalit ka na. Ayun niya, guys, before Carl came into the picture, kami muna ni Jeff talaga. Inagaw lang talaga siya ay sa akin ni Carl eh. Bakit siya lang yung handsome? Anyway, back to the topic. Jeff, so I'm really, thank you very much for being part of the online experience, especially on this particular experience, which is really not many people do, but there's a certain community that does it actually, and it's a very interesting one as well, because there's a sense of adrenaline rush that happens when you wear the first person goggles, no,
Yeah.
the goggles itself. So my first question is, what inspired you to actually go and start doing this project, or started coming up with a YouTube channel for specifically for drones, no?
Right. So, I think that was around 2017. Medyo Phantom 2 pa lang ata yung uso noon. And everyone was talking about the Phantom. So, yun lang yung medyo popular, di ba? Pero wala akong pambili ng Phantom.
Yung DJI. Yung DJI.
But coming from a very technical background, and you know, mahilig ako mag-painting, mahilig ako mag-work with things with my hands. Sabi ko, kaya ko namang gawin yan.
Kaya ko sirain lahat yan at reassemble ulit.
So yun, nag-research ako sa Google, check out ako sa internet, and dun ko na first na-discover it, people were building drones for themselves. At the time, these were really bigger drones than what we have now. Before, they had 6-inch propellers or bigger, and the flight control systems weren't as sophisticated. But yeah, I started out with a tricopter. It's still alive somewhere in my workshop. Lumilipad pa rin naman siya, but it doesn't fly as good anymore in comparison. So yun, sabi ko, how do I make basically it's a Google search, how do I make my own drone? So that was where I got started. I built probably one of the worst things that you could build for a beginner, which was a tricopter. It's na apat yung propeller, tatlo lang. May gumagalaw na buntot. So it was a very complicated to fly, and I spent so much money crashing that thing and destroying that thing.
But did you spend a lot for that small for the tricopter, or was it like there's a kit for it? There's a kit ba?
Better now. Now there are kits. Now now you can buy something off the store and get flying on the same. Oh, yeah. So yeah. So for example, I have this one. Yan, maliit lang siya. This is a very cheap drone. You can get it
pakita mo ulit. Does it have like a camera?
Yes, it does. Yan, sabi yung video camera.
Yun.
Small, it's palm size, and I can even fly it indoors. So ayun. So I also have a slightly bigger one, and I have a bigger one like this one. So it really depends on. Mamaya pakita natin yung mag-show and tell tayo with props.
Sige. And then kailan ka nagsimula? When was this? 2020 what?
2017 ata. Well, we met 2016. Oh no, sorry, 2013 pala, no?
2013 magkaibigan na tayo.
2013 pala. So I think that was 2017, 20. Or 2015. I forgot na. Nakakalimutan ko na yung petsa. Medyo matagal na eh. But in comparison, actually, it's very much it's easier for people now to get into the hobby. It's easier for people to learn because there are people who are helping them along the way. When I got started, medyo lone wolf yung pasok ko eh. Wala akong grupo noon. So I was figuring things out on my own. I was making my mistakes. So I took the long and hard route basically. I don't recommend that kasi magastos siya and mabagal ang learning curve in my case.
Wait. Pero in that time, wala pang community nun ng drone. Wala pang drone community or ano yan?
May communities na, small pockets, pero hindi pa like today na malaki. Like the biggest one right now, I believe, is one of the biggest at least. Or maybe the biggest, Tiny Hoop Philippines, for example.
What's the name?
Tiny Hoop Philippines. Ayan, shout out ulit sa nila. So, maganda yung group na yun because they're really focused on helping beginners get into the hobby. Medyo hindi siya masyadong intimidating because it's very small. Ito yung mga pinapalipad nila, mga maliliit na micro stuff. So, hindi siya intimidating for new people to get into the hobby. They don't spend as much money, and even when you crash, you don't spend that much.
Hindi masakit sa bulsa. Hindi kayo iiyak.
Kasi dati kada crash ko, bali ang may bali, may sira, may papalitan.
Natatandaan ko yung nag-crash sa waterfall yung DJI.
Oh my God. Oh. Shit.
I think hinanap pa yun.
Amazing crash. Kasi kaya nag-crash sa waterfall, hindi siya nahulog dun sa tubig. Sa bato.
Tumama pa na-record pa yung nangyari na yun.
Nice.
Anyway, sige. So, nagsimula ka ng 2017 and then from that time on, you started doing the tricopter first, no? the small
Yep.
ones. And then, paano siya? How did it from 2017 up to now? How was the what made you want to grow more and do more bigger drones?
So, well, like yung sabi, well, we both follow si di ba, si Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah,
And
yes.
he always says na
Shout out to Gary Vaynerchuk.
Oh, shout out to Gary. Gary Sabi niya, don't create, just document. So that was my very first blog. I just recorded. Napaka-boring nun. Still somewhere in my YouTube channel. Parang I was just discussing parang the world of drones. Parang napaka-monotonous ko. Hindi ako ngumingiti and everything. Wala. So talaga doon nagsimula. Sabi ko, sige, I'm new with drones. I'm just going to share kung how I'm going to learn, what I'm building, what I'm trying out, what my mistakes are. So actually, almost every Wednesday, mga 2018, 2019, ganon, especially, every Wednesday yan talaga pinupush ko yung sarili ko na parang, okay, whether it's a nice flight or a crashing flight or nasira ko yung drone or whatever, I'm going to post that flight on my YouTube channel. Para makita ng people, ito yung progress ko. So yung unang mga videos talaga, parang walang kakwenta-kwenta, always ends in a crash. Yung ngayon may mga acrobatics na medyo may...
Okay, paikot-ikot na, ganyan. May pakita natin yung video para makita nila lahat yung video na yun. Nakakatuwa yung video na yun.
Well, we should talk about that, yung difference between what people commonly know as drones. Kasi nga, like, with your intro, di ba, sabi mo, commonly these are the drones that people know of. Sila DJI Mavic Air, sila Phantom, sila. But with FPV kasi iba yung approach. Unang-una, iba yung mindset. They're both capable drones. The DJI drones were made for a specific purpose, which is capturing high quality videos and images. That is not the purpose of FPV.
That's the purpose of the drone. Yeah.
The purpose of FPV is to be in the pilot seat of a drone and just be there. Sabi mo, parang it's like sa Star Wars, diba? It's like the X-Wing French run.
And hindi ko lagi kasi itsura niya kasi mukhang X-Wing.
Yeah, diba? Exactly. may mga videos nga naka-overlay yung cockpit ng X-Wing sa drone video nito.
Saya kaya yun.
So anyway, we can play that video so that our viewers can see ano ba talaga yung kumbaga visually ano yung difference.
Why don't we play I think we should play the video of the YouTube first, yung normal drone, the aerial one we did for Babuyan Island. And then we can compare the one we did, which is the aerial version.
Yung second video that I sent kanina.
Yung second video. We can play the Babuyan first so they have an idea of the usual, what we understand about drones, and then versus yung FPV, no? So, pakita natin yung video natin ng Babuyan Island, which is one of the most epic road trips we've ever had. Dramatic talaga nito, Jeff. No? Pag FTV pinapanood ko ito, napaka-drama talaga eh.
And at the time, wala pang nakapunta ng Babuyan masyado. So,
wala pa.
The really rugged travelers who, were there.
Kailan patanggal natin yung now showing. Naharangan yun eh. And Dave, patanggal yung now showing. Yun. For those who don't know, this is actually Babuyan Island, which is actually the northern part of the Philippines before Batanes. It's actually made up of like 3 or 4 islands, I think. And we were there in Sabtang to, no, Jeff?
This is Calayan and...
Tama, Calayan, and then... Sorry, tama, Calayan Islands. Tapos isa Camiguin.
Camiguin, yes. Camiguin de Babuyan. We should organize another trip here.
I know, right? We should inspire ako talaga pumunta ulit dito. But you can only go to this place. I remember you can only go to this place, for those who are listening, not any time of the year. You can only go here during the months of April, no? April and
Yeah,
May because masyadong maalon and there's the only way to go there is by a boat.
There's no airport,
There's
unlike
no
Bataan.
airport.
Tapos, we stayed at a convent.
6 hours, di ba?
Oo.
I miss that. Grabe.
Oo.
Ganda niya, no?
Tsaka this time sama ko na yung wife ko. At the time, girlfriend pa lang.
Dapat sama natin si Carl nga next time.
Sama natin.
Drama naman ang likod ni Jeff doon,
Kahit na ako doon.
Di ba, nagyate pa. Ganda talaga yan. I think one of my favorite shots that you did for the DJI, it's really like one of my favorites talaga. At ang bata na to, bawal mga mabasa yung tenga at tumatalong pa sa tubig. Hindi ko makalimutan yung ahas na yan.
Yung ahas na hindi alam na may neurotoxins pala. Saya-saya ba
Anyway, we wanted to share that because that's exactly how people understand how drones are. Right? You know, that's one aspect of drone flying, which is very, very. I think it's more cinematic, the approach, and then more of a medyo more pagka beautiful type, yung mga papawaw ka. Tama ba ako? Yun ba yung comparison? Parang piling ko ako yung expert.
You can say that naman. Tama naman. Technically correct naman. Ayun. So, let's
that's
play that.
Okay.
Can
That's
the... Video?
Yeah, sige. Dave, pa-play naman yung isang video ng comparison. What is the FPV, no?
Ngayon, may commercial pa.
May pa-commercial ka ba? Ganyan ang mobile app na yan, So, ano yun yung sabihin ng aerial at acro? What does it mean?
So, I define the aerial drones like these DJI drones because they're meant to take aerial shots. They're meant to take cinematic shots like that. Well, as yung acro, it's short for acrobatic. It's like you know, the ones that you can do with these FPV quads, and so that's one reason kung bakit iba yung approach nila. Why I mean in that video maganda yung pagka-edit, diba? Parang it has a mix of both the aerials and the acro, and kumbaga parang you can see that there's a difference in the dynamic of the shot. If you want some slow moving panning shots, then maybe the aerial drones are for you. Kung puro ganun lang kailangan mo. But you can't do like yung nag-roll or nag-flip or yung following the mountain bike sa ramp, di ba? You can't really follow that with easily with an aerial drone because first yung camera it moves slowly, ganon. Ayun, basically it's a difference in the mindset of how you control those drones. And ano yung objective rin na achieve mo with both types of drones. So I mean, both have their purpose, but you gotta choose which one you need talaga for the job or for whatever the shot.
But usually, pero usually for travel videos, if I was a blogger, I would usually use the aerial ones because it's slow and you can easily control it. It's not so hard to play around.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, that would be true when I made that video, the comparison video. It's the cinematic world is now changing a little bit, especially with what they call the cine whoops, which are basically these FPV quads. But they're starting to be used in commercials, especially for automotive commercials, because of the dynamic shot na kaya nilang i-provide, or yung talagang nagpa-follow talaga dun sa I mean, yung parang Star Wars type pa rin nga na.
But I have a question. So because of the maneuverability of the smaller ones, is that the reason why? Because I think it's the design. Is it because of the design? That's the reason why they're able to do that, not the kagaya ng DJI.
It's both it's the maneuverability and the design, the design and also the control method ng both, because they now with the DJI kasi it's all automatic, diba? That's why it's so easy to get into a DJI drone, but it's not as easy to get into FPV. DJI kasi even if you let go of the controller, it's gonna fly itself. I was trying to make a comedy skit vlog na before. Naghugas ako ng pinggan, lumilipad yung drone sa likod ko. Nag-drive ako, lumilipad yung drone sa likod ko. Something like that. I was never able to complete that, but it's basically how smart and at the same time how disconnected you are from the drone when you have a DJI, because you're not really the pilot. You're just telling it, okay, I want to move forward, so I'll just push you forward. I want to move back, I'll just move you back. Now the mindset with the what do you call this? The
first person
FPV pod is that you're controlling. Okay, I want to tilt to the left or tilt to the right, or I want to tilt forward or tilt back. I want to increase the power in the motors. Kumbaga parang you're really affecting how it moves, not where you want it to go.
Para siyang comparison is parang manual at saka automatic na sasakyan.
Exactly. Now, you've seen yung mga commercial airlines like the Airbus A320, diba? They just put it on autopilot. They set it, okay, I want to go to 30,000 feet. And the airplane basically goes up to 30,000 feet on its own. And it can land on its own. Basically, I want to go east. They just turn on up and the plane goes east. Whereas before, there was nothing like that, diba? Parang dati, pag airplane, kailangan mo ganunin. So, parang ganon. Ikaw yung pilot talaga. It's no autopilot talaga when you're flying with an FPV quad. And another key difference, I guess, is with a DJI drone, and anyone who's watching, kung meron kayong DJI drone, you can try this out. Fly your drone, diba? You have your DJI, your controller. Turn one of your sticks to the right or to the left, and wait. You have to wait 1 second before the drone actually turns, diba? Now, if you're doing high-speed acrobatics or you're trying to go through a race course, an FPV race course, yung 1 second or half second na delay na yun is actually very fatal. Kumbaga, parang in that half second, you've already traveled so far. So that's why with an FPV, you need goggles like this. This is an FPV goggles. Obviously, you wear it over your head.
Hey, good. Pakita mo.
Yan. Viewers. So it's a pair of goggles, binocular goggles. It has 2 screens, and you look through through these screens and through your quad. Now, yung sa DJI, di ba, mayroon siyang camera na move. Now, with an FPV quad, the camera is usually fixed in the forward position. Yun, yung camera natin. This is the camera. So whatever camera can see, that is what you can see on the goggles, and it's really real time. I think the latency is like I forgot 20 milliseconds or something like that, or microseconds. I forgot kung ano yung latency talaga, but it's really short. So halos real time, walang delay. Unlike with the DJI na parang may delay when you move your sticks, it may konting delay. You can try it yourself if you have a DJI drone. But here, when you move your stick to the right, it moves to the right almost instantaneously. And you want that high
response time,
low latency, especially when you're
doing,
when you're doing the acrobatics na kanina, di ba? Panlulusot-lusot sa mga butas. Because a low latency, it's really going to be fatal. Babangga ka talaga.
Does the size of the drone matter? Like, kailangan ba maliit siya to do all those acrobatics, or does it have to be like a certain, di ba, like the DJI that comes out now it's getting smaller. I mean, it's a bit smaller now, no? But I don't know if in the FPVs they actually have to have like a certain size so that it can do that acrobatic kind of thing.
Well, no. All any parts, regardless of size, can do those acrobatics. Ang difference na lang is they handle differently rin. Like for example, these ones you can fly these indoors because they're small. They move relatively slow. In the goggles, obviously, it looks fast kasi you're moving through your sofa, your TV, your stairs, diba? So it looks fast kasi maliit yung confined in space. But for example, if you're racing in an open field, you probably itong 5-inch this is a 5-inch sized quad. This would feel much more at home kasi maluwag yung kanyang kayang liparan. At the same time, yung weight nila, actually nararamdaman mo yung weight. This one is more susceptible to wind ng konti. And this one, may momentum. Mga parang pag lumiko ka, may nagsiskid pa kumbaga, nagdrift ng konti.
May drifting pala sa drones.
May ganung factor rin kahit na wala siyang gulong, may drift pa rin.
Okay.
Ayun. Ano pa bang natin?
Hindi, kasi ngayon, the question ko ito, ngayon sa kung gusto mo mag-start ng drone, ano ba yung, pag-iisipin na lang, mas maganda na lang is, mamaya natin pag-usapan kung gusto na mag-start. Meron bang dito sa Philippines, meron ba talaga siyang like, you mentioned there's a community out of it, no? But is there like something that I think we've seen the videos before and I showed those videos before, diba? Yung may mga parang racing, may mga lights pa sila. Parang feeling ko, kaya ako na-imagine kasi na Star Wars talaga siya. Kasi parang feeling ko ganun. Kasi parang, yung usually ginagawa nila, especially sa first episode, sorry, di pala, tama ba ako? Sorry, yung kumakot sila sa loob ng star. In that they were following
episode 4.
Episode 4, tama.
Yes.
Episode 4. So, di ba, it's that kind of feeling, kasi and I've seen those videos, that they have that, and they arrange it sa mga buildings.
Yep.
And thus they put neon lights na lang, and then they start all at the same time, and they do all these race, and they're all wearing the goggles. Do we have that here in the Philippines?
Yes, we do. We do. Different classes rin. There are races for the small ones.
Yeah.
The races, kung tawagin. And there's the regular FPV quad 5-inch races na nangyari sa mga open field. Right now, nagsastart na ulit yung mga races. I think there has already been one in Batangas noong January. Especially as the boundaries, as the borders open up, it's becoming possible again.
Yeah.
Pero ang tagal na dahil sa pandemic, ang daming races na naka-schedule na na-canceled. But there are usually several in a year, several races in a year. And hopefully we can get back to that kind of situation with it, because yung races, it's a great way to be exposed, or even as a spectator, to be exposed to what happens in a race, how fast these races go. Ayun.
But how does it, how does that, do they have actually like a video that they watch so they can feel like they're actually being part of the whole movement, or they just actually see the drone moving around them?
Well, ngayon, nung una ganun lang talagang third-person view ka lang na
parang spectator ka lang talaga, manonood ka
it's
na
kind
lang.
of boring.
So, walang thrill, walang adrenaline rush.
So ang galing nga nung Tiny Whoop Philippines nung nagkaroon ng race sa Mind Museum, sa loob ng Mind Museum, because they set up some small monitors so that even the audience can see what's happening dun sa what the pilot sees itself. It's really really fast. Parang maliit lang siya na space, but because it's a whoop, it's a small sized in a confined space, mukha siyang mabilis talaga. And that's really parang yung thrill nga talaga. Yun yung hinahabol mo pag nasa race ka.
Yeah.
So right now, may nagde-develop ngayon sa atin, si McFly Industries.
Parang saan yan
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future reference.
So, I'm not sure kung nandito si Marlon. Hello Marlon, kung nandyan ka. But si Marlon developing the system where they can even live stream the event right now. So tapos HD na yung feed, so they can get analog HD and everything, so they can throw it directly to the internet, pwede na stream. So may ganong klaseng developments na ngayon.
Pwede ba natin mag-invite niyan? Parang we do a live, pero parang feeling nila that they can actually watching it. Pwede ba ganun? We can invite.
Pwede.
We can, so Jeff, ikaw na mag-organize.
Pwede rin gawin. But
Sige. Schedule natin yan.
So ang galing nga kasi even automated na rin pati yung lap timing based dun sa video. Para pag nakita nila parang okay.
Wait, ito ba yung ginagamit nila yung I remember kasi recently nagkaroon ng New Year ba yata yun? Or yung, Olympics. Di ba gumawa sila ng parang drone, ano ba yun? Mga FPV yun? Yung mga yun? Or the normal DJI lang yun?
Alin to? Yung light show?
Yung light show na parang drones lahat sila. They all fly all the same time together.
I don't think they're DJI. I think they're custom drones. They're not FPV definitely. Kasi with that one, talagang no one's piloting it per se because it's all controlled by a computer. So the computer says, okay, it controls, each drone is like a point in space. Mm-hmm. So the computer has to coordinate like those hundreds of drones at the same time. Na parang, okay, you have to go here, you have to go here now, you have to move here.
Diba? I thought there were DJIs eh. Parang kinomand lang nila, in-override lang nila yung code, tapos ginawa nilang parang one brain na lang.
No, I think it's a different
It's
brand.
It's a different one. Yeah. May mga sample ka dyan, you wanna explain like yung mga examples mo ng drones, like how you, like I don't know if you have any like actual items you wanna show us, like the drones.
Yes. Right, so first...
Gusto ko mag-demo. Paliparin mo na rin!
Walang mga battery. So, this is what your typical, what do you call this? This is your typical FPV quad looks like. And it has a camera up front. And you can see sa gilid, exposed siya, di ba? Because...
bakit ang pangit na itsura? I mean, usually, bakit ganun nga yun? Bakit wala siyang body like yung kagaya ng...
Yeah. So, it looks pangit, but it's actually one of the more beautiful quads that I have.
Sorry, ang lait ko talaga.
Again, iba ang mindset na hinahabol mo when you're flying an FPV quad. You don't want the extra weight. You don't want if you crash something like this, it's probably out of commission for the whole day until you get it repaired. Now, with an FPV quad, the mindset is you want it to be strong. In fact, every time you fly, you have to expect to crash. And it has to withstand a crash normally. But syempre, prepared ka lagi na may masisira. So these are actually made out of carbon fiber. So unlike a DJI drone, which is made of plastic, this one can withstand like maybe even 100 kilometers per hour na crash. And hopefully, it's really tough carbon fiber. So hopefully it will survive speeds of 70, 80, 90, 100 kilometers per hour. It's not guaranteed, obviously, so you still have to be prepared. And yun nga, open siya because airflow, weight, all of these are considerations when you're flying something like this, as well as center of gravity. What the hell, center of gravity? Basta yung weight has to be evenly distributed because it reflects the flight characteristics. You want to be able to flip this thing really, really quickly in mid-air, or you're doing a roll, doing a turn.
Is that determined by the actual guy who actually makes it, or there's actually like a weight that you actually weight down? There's a scale that you actually weight where the center of gravity.
Depending on how deep you want to go, you could. Normally, especially if you're gonna guide someone, the beginner pa lang on how to build a quad like this, diba? You just tell him, okay, this is what you need. You need this kind of flight controller. You need these specs for the electronic speed controller. You need these size motors, ganyan. But you don't even talk about the weight anymore. You don't talk about the how you're putting all of your components here and there and everywhere. So yun, usually ganun lang. It can be very basic, but then pag, as you get more mental into the thing, you start considering na parang, okay, this thing I think weighs like 200, 300 grams. So you don't want your quad to be too heavy. Because
there is a standard weight. There is a standard weight for FPVs.
I wouldn't say standard, because some people prefer having a heavier quad. Some people prefer having a lighter quad, because it affects the dynamics, especially if you're racing. You want it to be as light as possible with the most powerful motors that you can put on it, and still save on the weight. Now this one is actually a freestyle quad, pang show, pang laro, pang acrobatics. And you want it to be actually a little bit heavier para pag when you're doing your tricks, may konti kang momentum to throw around. Kumbaga parang if you're trying to, go over a tree, you want it to be a little bit heavier para pag nag full throttle ka, may konti pa siyang momentum before you roll and you dive or whatever.
Okay. Was it hard to construct that? Or do you have to start from a tiny
create a video of constructing it?
So, kasi inisip ko ba kailangan magsimula muna sa tiny whoop bago yan eh.
So yun, that's a good question. So normally you have this one kasi, diba? I have this kind of controller.
Ang laki naman ng controller. Ang laki naman yan, Jeff.
But unlike a DJI, you only need to buy a controller once, and you can control all of your quads.
Wait, okay. Now that you mentioned that, this uses what? This uses radio frequency waves. Does it use like I don't know?
So this uses 2.4 gigahertz frequency. Normally.
Yeah.
But I actually have a 900 megahertz long range transmitter here. This is for long range, so this is like an add-on I put here.
When you say long range, how many kilometers is that? Like additional 2 kilometers more, or
theoretically 40 kilometers.
No way! Seryoso yan?
Yes, theoretically. Obviously, I haven't done it. I've done a few kilometers, but I haven't done 40.
But let's start off with a standard one. That one without the extender.
All right.
How far can you fly a drone and not worry that when it crashes, it's still like, it's a safe, or hindi siya maubusan ng battery kagad.
So again, that's the difference in the mindset, no, with when you're doing FPV race and when you're flying an aerial drone, because the range for a standard receiver is like 1 kilometer, maybe less. Because all you need to do is, fly in a particular area. If you're racing, maliit lang, kumbaga yung race course is just a field, and a kilometer is more than enough for that whole field for you to be able to control your drone.
Correct. Yeah.
Plus, yung flight times natin, we're not talking about like DJI is talking about 15-minute flight time, 20-minute flight time. We're talking about 3-minute flight time, 4-minute flight times. So that is the standard. So with these small ones, I think this one does 2.5 minutes. So races are very, very quick because yun lang talaga yung that's how
nila, no?
Yeah, that's their purpose. The top racers right now in the country, usually parang they can finish a race in like a minute or less. That's like 3 laps around the course.
Sobrang bilis nun.
You should see the top racers. Mukhang robot yung flights nila. Parang,
wow.
Ang gulat ka lang, parang nakita yung turn na yun, sumakto siya dun sa butas na yun. So,
wow,
ayun.
I want to see that.
Very, very fast. And that's usually all you need when you're racing, you're doing freestyle. However, if you're doing long range, there are some ways to extend your battery. Kumbaga parang ano yan, maraming trade-off yan eh. Parang you can't just put a bigger battery and expect it to fly as well, or
Yeah,
fly at all.
yeah.
Masyadong
Yeah,
bigat
yeah,
yung
yeah.
battery, it's not gonna
Yeah,
fly.
yeah.
So, puro trade-off, balance.
So at the end of the day, it really depends on the purpose of why you entered FPV. Like, what's the objective of your FPV? Or you can have several drones serving several purposes for your FPV.
That's true.
Now, how long does it take for you to construct one like that? Like, for example, that one.
If you're, I can finish this in probably in an afternoon. If I'm not recording it, if kumbaga parang assembly lang talaga, maybe a few hours, dire-diretso lang talaga if I'm just gonna assemble one. So you're just gonna put the components there, solder the wires. So you have to learn how to solder the wires din pala. So ayun, in a few hours you can build something like this. The only reason why it takes me so long because I have to record it, I have to narrate what I'm doing, diba? So when I'm making the video, it takes longer. But it's quite kind of quick. So this one is actually one of my general purpose quads. It's for freestyle. It can also do long range. I put a GPS on this, so it's a little bit more advanced and sophisticated ng konti lang naman over the standard ones. So napag-isipan na rin kung ano yung mga nilagay ko dito. And I've flown it for 16 minutes using a special battery that I made.
Tagal rin na.
Tagal yun. So with 16 minutes, you can probably reach like 8 kilometers or something. I don't know.
Okay, let's go to the some of the basic questions. If I were interested in starting my drone, like a drone, let's say like I want to test it out, the FPV, the acro, let's use the word acro. If I want to start with acro, where do I start and how do I start? Like, do I start buying first the small one, the tiny whoop, or can I go with the one that you actually showed me kagad, or a middle-sized one, or how does it start?
Well, ano yun parang pick your poison talaga, and depende kung how much punishment you want to give your wallet.
So depende pala sa pera.
Depende kung may asawa ka, wala ka, ganun.
May anak ka, wala.
So the very basic thing you have to buy is a controller. Probably not this particular controller kasi medyo luma ng model to. I'm still using it because you buy a controller, you can actually plug it into your computer. You can fly a simulator para at least yun yung pinaka least magastos na way because you're playing with a virtual quad. You crash it, walang masisira, wala kang lalabas na pera. But maganda yung point mo na I wish I started with a tiny whoop like this because you can crash it like dozens of times and it's not gonna break agad. It's gonna break eventually, but I mean it's not gonna break agad. So while you're learning how to fly acro, you can just keep on practicing. It's dirt cheap. Like this one is like 4,000 pesos, and trust me, that's cheap.
But that's just the tiny whoop. What about the controller? How much is the controller?
Yeah. So on the low side, I could recommend a controller that starts at 2,000 pesos. So again, depending lang sa budget mo, you can start with a 2,000 peso controller. You can start with a 4,000 peso goggles, and you can start with a 4,000 peso tiny whoop. So all in all, yung initial damage mo is 10,000 pesos more or less. Probably need some chargers rin, ganon, tools, which are a few hundreds, maybe.
Soldering iron.
So 10, 5, 11,000, you can get started. And actually, you can get started even cheaper because there are for sale na parang kit na, no? Kompleto na, may controller, may goggles, may ganito na. The problem with those is the controllers are really crappy. So
did you assemble your own controller ba? Is that the reason why? Did you make your own controller or?
No, I bought. You buy these things naman. You buy your own controller.
Okay, I thought you make your own controller ba?
So yung pinaka easiest way to get into FPV is actually not building muna, but just buying something off the shelf that you can practice with. However, eventually you're gonna want to learn how to build. Kasi, this is not like DJI when if it's damaged, you send it to a repair center and it gets fixed. This one, you have to fix it yourself. You have to buy the replacement motors. You have to, you have to learn how to fix your stuff. It's like, I mean, kung may nanonood tayong car guys, you can probably relate na parang if you're gonna buy a supercharged, I know, I'm not a car guy, maybe supercharged na Camaro, di ba? May turbocharger sa harap, ganyan. Tapos pag nasira mo, hindi mo alam kung paano ayusin. Di ba? Come on. So, you're not really a car guy.
Pag bumili ka naman Camaro, may pera ka na siguro. Pwede mo na pa-ayos na lang.
Yung mga bumili ng
kasi diba you started out in 2017, I remember that. We started out 2017. I remember kasi pinapalipad mo yung tiny book niyan sa bahay pa dati. Tutuwa ka pa na umakit mo ba siya paano naman siya paano mo nalaman where to buy? Did you really buying in I don't think there was Lazada at the time or Shopee at the time. But where were you buying it? Where were you buying it?
So, before there were China.
No, where are you buying? No, where are you buying it now? Let's say if I wanted to start now, where do you buy it now?
So right now is a great place to start because marami ng local sellers. There's for most of your needs there's Pinoy FPV and JC FPV. You can just search them on Facebook. They have most of the things. They can cover most of the things. And then for batteries, I get my batteries from Kaiju Power. He has batteries for all sizes of quads. May pang maliit, may pang malaki, and everything in between. So, isa pa yung investment niyan. The batteries are, you buy like batteries in the at least 5 batteries or 6 batteries.
Because nasisira.
Nasisira rin sila, but mostly because it sucks when you go to a field with only 1 or 2 batteries.
Oo nga naman.
And then you go home. You might,
Gets.
it's either you charge them on the field naman, but charging them takes time as well. So you have to bring a couple of batteries para at least buong maghapon ka na sa field or you spend a couple of hours there.
Correct.
So yun, si Pinoy FPV, JC FPV, Kaiju Power, these are all on Facebook. Si Penta FPV rin pala. Sino bang hindi ko na, si Jay Lagare. So there are actually a couple of options now that.
But are they all Manila based or they're like provincial? Or do we have in terms of geographical density of users for FPV, are they majority found in Manila, or do you have other foxholes around the country?
Well, the great thing is there are FPV pilots all over the Philippines.
Ayan, Mike Fire.
Obviously, pinaka-populated na city natin is Metro Manila, and yun yung pinaka connected sa internet and everything. So may concentration talaga definitely sa Manila. There's concentrations in Laguna and Cavite. But I also know pilots in Ilo, Visayas, even in Mindanao. Here in Baguio nga meron din dito sa Baguio. Parang pailan-ilan, but meron pa rin. So when we were in Bohol, I wasn't able to meet any of the pilots in Bohol, but there's also pilots over there in sa Bohol rin. So everywhere. They're everywhere. Tago lang. Shout out kay Oliver. Sa taga-Canada yan. Canada nga ba? Canada ka, di ba? I forgot.
Canada ko ba?
Kilala ko rin yan.
Dahil mong fans pala, Jeff.
Oo nga Tutuwa nga ako.
Fans club mo. So, good. I love it. So, and I think I'm not so sure how tinatanong nila yung magkano daw yung budget. May nagtatanong na magkano yung budget daw. Kung magkano daw yung total nagagastusin natin, kunyari mag-FPV. I mean, if we were, kasi we're going to do that as well in Experience Philippines. We're going to be offering the VIP sessions with that. No? So, how much is the, basically just an estimate lang, how much is usually the jump start?
Probably prepare 10 to 15 or more to get started.
But that's complete set already,
to get started.
Oh my God. Parang nakatakot yung get started din,
Kasi ano yan like many hobbies, this is a money pit. It goes in, never comes out.
Ay, yan ang tanong. Actually, yan ang tanong ko. Can you monetize the FPVs? No, is there people like doing it like they do it because they can make money out of it?
There are, but ano sila, the ones I know na talaga monetize is mostly based in the US or Europe or whatever. Here in the Philippines, some pilots are sponsored some parts or some quads. They're not really like a salary or something like that. But there are in the US, especially kunwari yung top pilots, the winner of the drone racing league, for example, which is an annual race that happens in the US. They get paid. They get sponsored. They get paid.
Is it parang silang is like a typical race car driver?
Parang gano'n, parang ambassador na sila eh.
Ambassador sila.
They get sent gear, they get paid money, actual money, pera talaga. So,
do we have that here? No.
As far as I know,
gawa tayo, Jeff, dali. Pwede tayo magsimula. Sponsor na natin yung mga...
Hindi ako, pero you can... I know...
Ako na lang. Kasi ikaw na lang sumali ka sa race.
Hindi, ako natalo ako agad.
Tanong natin sa mga tao. Gusto nyo ba nagkaroon tayo ng liga, ng FPV League? We can start off in Metro Manila.
You can sponsor yung mga top pilots natin like sila Joseph, sila Andre, sila Fred. There are several more. Baka ayoko magsabi na sila yung top pilot kasi baka may makalimutan ako eh. Lagot pa ako, di ba? Magalimutan. Ayun, Arkansas pala si Uliver. Sorry.
Okay, pangalan niya, Uliver. Parang Oliver na Ulysses. Galing.
Name is Gravy FPV because he likes chicken.
Wait, may question ako. Do you name your FPVs? Do people name them? Does all your FPVs have actually a name? Like,
you mean yung these things?
May mga ano din siya. Like cars, do they have names?
I do. I give them names. But,
you do give them. What's the name?
Ito si Mr. Kebab to eh.
Papi, nangyari ba sa Mr. Kebab? Game, pakita mo. Pakita mo ulit yung larger yan.
Yeah. This is Mr. Kebab. Alam mo bakit? Because the designer of this carbon fiber frame is named Bob Rudy and his pilot name is Kebab FPV.
Legit ba yan? Hindi yan joke?
Legit yan. Surprisingly, he's a dentist by profession. So, medyo ang kulit nga, ang layo.
Ay, oo nga pala, before anything else, di ko pa napakilala si Jeff. Si Jeff, di ko napakilala pala yung background ni Jeff by profession. Jeff is actually in FinTech. It's a way different from what actually he's doing in terms of, which is surprising, diba? Like, many times our professions doesn't necessarily translate that for our passion projects or passion hobbies, or hobbies and stuff like that. So it helps a lot rin naman.
Malayo dapat talaga.
Malayo talaga.
FinTech ako nag-work, tapos yung hobby ko, FinTech rin. Oh my God. Ayoko na.
Wala na. Araw-araw na puro numbers. Galing. So, okay, now is there any, at the end of the day, like, how long do you see yourself, or what's the end goal of having to do this? It's just really, do you have a plan of like doing a race? Like actually getting involved in races, or do you have what's your like a goal that you have, or it's just because it's just purely hobby that you have? It's just mainly fun lang.
Well, hindi na siya fun masyado. I mean, hindi na siya fun lang dahil yung YouTube channel ko is already monetized, so it's making a measly amount, but it's still making money. Kahit paano. What I really want to do is really to help educate other people, help other people get into the hobby, as well as yung I have no idea at this point, but yung STEM applications of this, science, technology, engineering, and math, diba? There's a lot of teaching points kasi na pwede mo gamitin sa STEM education. I don't know if it's going to be possible.
That's interesting. That's a very interesting point. That it's actually kasi nga there's an engineering component constructing
Yes.
it as well. Right? So and I was like wondering, I mean, you don't assemble it like a Lego. You don't just attach things. You actually there are actually wires. There's actually electronic items that go into it. Yeah. So there is a specific step-by-step process before you actually make it work.
Yeah.
I like it.
Even the physics involved.
Yeah, I mean, the dynamics of actually.
Propeller spin, quad flies, diba? That's the most basic. But why does it fly, diba? Those are things that can be answered.
Tsaka yung weight that you mentioned a while ago, yung the center of gravity.
Yeah.
They have to compute that as well. Like.
So actually, when I was in college, I came from a computer engineering background, diba? Back then, wag na natin banggitin yung year, basta back then, walang available na quads, walang available na ganito. I mean, you can't do this readily. But my batchmate ako actually made something like that, and they developed their own flight controller. They did all of the math. As in, I was able to see the math that was involved. Parang matrix yung ginagawa nilang na math. Just to tell the drone na parang, okay, I'm steady. Basically, na hindi ako gumagalaw sideways, hindi ako gumagalaw forward, hindi ako gumagalaw. Just to tell the drone na parang, okay, I'm just steady.
Wow.
Math involved is really, really impressive. And, basta hands up ako para sa mga...
Outside the biging pagkaibigan naman natin, natuwa naman ako that you're choosing us to be able to share that knowledge to the people who want to actually learn it on a more VIP, on a more intimate session. No? So, thank you talaga.
Yeah.
Right, talaga
ano ba yung VIP natin? I-plug mo na nga.
Oo nga. So basically, ang mangyayari is, nagtanong natin kung may magtatanong. May mga questions ba kayo kay Jeff habang nandito siya live? Maliban sa waistline niya, huwag niyo na tanungin.
Malaki habang tumataas.
Habang tumataas. May asawa na po yan. So, hindi yan po single. Wala pa naman nagkatanong. So, but basically the reason why we're doing this as well is because we wanted to encourage people to start experimenting and trying it out. That's the reason why I asked also na, how do you start it out? How much do you spend to start it out? What kind of kit? So we actually answered basically. We're going to be helping you guys out through Jeff, no. So we're going to be doing like a VIP sessions. Basically, VIP sessions is like a one-on-one session. They have a hands-on time with Jeff, and he'll be giving you a guidelines on how to start your own drone. So basically, it's like a workshop where Jeff will actually guide you and explain everything from point A to point Z in terms of constructing your first ever FPV drones, no. And he's quite I think at the end of the day, it's because you want to fly your drone. So how Jeff is gonna help you do that and get you involved in that environment as well in terms of acro. Tama ba ako, Jeff? Tama ba yung aking spiel at aking marketing?
Kapasta na mga authentic.
Yan. So kung gusto nila, yan, nilagay ko na sa link sa Facebook. Is basically you can just go and get your updates at the Experience Philippines community. It's actually our FB page, FB group page, where they get more the updates kasi they can get and Jeff is also part of that, so you can easily ask questions there. And yeah. Ano pa? Jeff, may kwento. Gusto kayo kwento? Go.
This is going to be two VIP sessions, right? I forgot.
Yeah, it's going to be basically there is the first one, which is the first VIP session, which is like the start kit, the starting kit, pilot, and then the next advanced session would be more of they buy the actual kit itself, where it's sent to them. So as you know, we have our gift boxes, so it's going to be part of that. So you're going to be receiving a gift box wherever you are in the Philippines. We cannot ship yet outside of the country, but we are shipping anywhere in the country. So basically, kung gusto nyo, we'll be sending you out an actual box, a kit for the drone, and you can start off and everything that you need to start it off. No, so you don't have to worry about where to get other stuff. It's all there. You just open it, and then you can start your classes or workshop with Jeffrey. Oh, Jeff, exactong 1 hour tayo. No? Galing natin.
Sakto na. Pwede na tayo mag-inuman.
Pwede tayo mag-inuman. Ilabas na ang beer!
Ilabas na.
Ayan. So yun. So ano pa? Ano pa gusto mo kwento? Share. Meron kang i-share?
Let's start kung may questions ka pa. Ikaw, wala ka ng questions.
Wala nang questions. Kasi I think tanong ko na lahat. Excited ako. Gusto ko lang talaga simulan. I've always been a big, I find it interesting yung adrenaline rush in terms of the actual race. That's why I've been asking you about if there's actually people doing that we can actually watch it gusto ko talaga siyang, sana may talagang, alam mo yung punanta natin before alam mo yung lugar na yun, yung maliliit na dune buggy.
Sa Pawai.
Yung maliliit na RC pa tawag nila doon.
Yeah. Cars.
Di ba? So parang ganun nung gusto ko makita kasi galing pero ito for flying.
Yeah, you should sabihan kita next time pag may race. Usually wala dito sa Baguio yun So but it's mahirap dito. The last one was in Batangas, I believe. So pag mayroon ulit, I'll let you know para at least you can magandang experience to see how the dynamics of the pilots are. Because usually on race day, you have a tent and all of the pilots are there. May mga tables doon. They're working on their drones, repairing stuff between races, charging their batteries, or minsan may nagiinuman lang. Pero so ayun, it's
is it a very intimate community? Like everyone knows everybody?
Most of it, yeah.
Most
it's
of the time, no?
Very close community. Kumbaga parang may bago, bago yan ganun mapapakilala yan sa buong community. And then
ang saya.
So everyone knows each other basically.
Yeah.
And ayun. Kaya maganda small community lang siya.
Yeah, I think siguro now small community eventually people would start getting involved and start doing it. Parang bike lang yan Kaya ngayon nag-boom yung bike. Nadami nagbibisikleta na ngayon. So feeling ko ganyan rin pag
yun nga, speaking of community, actually that's the best way to get started kasi mahirap yung mag-isa. Mas mabagal kang mag-learn because no one's guiding you, no one's teaching you, and no one's pushing you as well.
Diba? That's true.
So yung push na yun, parang nakita mo parang, okay. Kung mag-isa ka lang, parang okay, lipad-lipad lang, relax lang, diba? And then pag may nakasabi ka na, parang, ay pucha, bilis na. Sorry. Oh my God.
May bleep. Bleep.
Oh my God, that guy's too fast.
Sige.
Diba?
I think that's the reason why we started doing this in Wayne. I really wanted to do these experiences because at the end of the day, it's really to make it anything successful, especially if you're entering something like a hobby or you want to try things out. Really, a community is a very good option. Being part of a community is a very good option to have because of the support system that you get. You get pushed, tama. You get inspired as well. You get information. You basically skip all the process of making mistakes, especially kung you're starting off pa lang. So at least you can start off with the right foot and enjoy the process na rin. Yeah,
that's true. In fact, nung very first na race ko, doon ako natutuwa kasi the very first race ko, diba, very newbie pa ako doon Everyone was cheering. No matter how much you suck.
Ang saya nun!
Parang, go! Kaya pinaka-importante talaga sa race, you don't need to be finish first, you just have to finish. Diba?
Tama naman.
Crashing out. So everyone's cheering, parang, kaya mo yan, go! Kaya mo yan.
But because, kaya ka nila cheer because parang, nahuhuli ka na or nawawala, tumabangga yung drone.
Obviously, yung pinakahuli.
Pero,
last na. So,
paano ba yung pag dumabangga siya, wala na, as in, kukunin mo siya agad,
depends on the race. May race na as long as you can flip, yun ang hindi kaya ng DJI. So, this thing, if it crashes ng opposite ng ganyan, upside down, you can actually spin the motors para gumanon siya.
Di ba bababa yun?
Reverse. It'll spin the motors in reverse. It'll push one side para mag-roll.
So hindi lang siya one direction? It goes like the direction like this?
Yeah. there are actually pilots who use special propellers, and in mid-air, di ba, kunwari ganyan, lumilipad siya, di ba? They're gonna flip, and then reverse nila yung motors. They're still gonna fly. Kailan ba nakabaliktad na? That's also possible. Some people are doing that. Medyo komplikado siya because mid-air, magbabaliktad ka. So that's also possible. But yeah, so some races, they allow you to flip your quad, and then as long as you can still fly,
Pwede
go.
pa.
Pwede pa yan. Some races naman, once you crash, out ka na. And then there was one race na na-enter ko na sobrang fun kasi pag nag-crash yung quad mo, hindi mo ma-flip, you have to run. Pick up your quad.
Tapos i-flip mo. Nakakatakot pag dumadaan na yung mga ganun.
Mga maliliit naman mga slightly bigger than this. So medyo safe pa kasi naiiwasan, parang kang tumatawid ng highway kasi may dumadaan, di ba? Tumatakbo ka, so parang hindi ka lang nag-pilot, tatanggalin mo yung goggles mo, tatakbo ka, nakakapagod rin physically, hindi lang, virtually.
Ang saya na. Saya na.
Nakakatawa yung experience yun. Sana maulit pa ulit pagkatapos na nitong pandemic.
I'm sure that. I think it's just a matter of time lang naman yan. It's a matter of time. That's gonna be
ano yun? It's all about the race director. Even you, kunwari may maisip kang ibang concept for a race, you can organize a race. You can call out, I can help you call the pilots na para, okay, may ganitong race. A difference is, let's say, relay siya, di ba? 3 people per team. So, may ganun, may relay style races rin na parang, okay, after 1 lap ng isang pilot, they land their quad and yung next pilot naman lilipad.
I've seen that. Nasa YouTube video na may ginagawa nyo na para silang, parang tag team. Nakita ko yan.
Ayun, sa ngayon kasi may yung parang official multi-GP na format, di ba? But what's the fun in that kung laging ganun races? We can invent our own types of races, make it fun, and make fun the point of the race, not really just the winning and the prizes. There are prizes pala when you win a race.
For sure. Yeah. Gawin natin yan. Guys, organize kami.
May maisip tayong ano.
Pero invite mo muna yung friend mo, si Mike ba yun? Sasabi mo? Yung kanina na pwede siya mag-virtual.
Si Marlon.
Marlon. So pwede parang try natin. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
So, gawa tayo parang they can actually see and I personally would like it kahit na virtual. You can actually feel like you're part of the whole thing. And we can invite them in the show. Let's invite them in the show.
Yeah. Kasi I was supposed to do an interview of him last year na hindi natuloy because I suddenly had to leave and go here to Baguio. I think we can invite him next time.
Sige. Si Dave, i-note mo yun. Invite natin si Adam. Masaya yun.
Search mo na, Dave.
Masaya. I-note na ni Dave. Sige. Sige,
Dave na yung bago natin si Dave.
Si Dave, ano yan? AI namin. AI. Dave, AI. Change the perspective. More malaki si Jeff, please. Anyway, sige, yun, maraming salamat, Jeff. I don't wanna take out your time. Alam ko, sa Baguio ngayon ay tulog time mo na ng 8 o'clock.
Umaga, ako nang tulog ngayon.
Guys, alam niyo ba, pag nasa probinsya na daw, sabi sa akin ni Jeff, pag nasa probinsya na daw, wala na daw kasi ginagawa, nasa Baguio siya ngayon. So, wala daw siya maaga daw sila matulog ng ni Mrs. Kasi masyado rin na daw malamig. Sige. Jeff, super thank you very much.
Nakakatakot dito sa taas ng bahay ko. Lagi ako natatakot dito.
Ayoko kaya tignan niya. May mga story pa tayo dyan.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Remember that? I know. Lord, nakakatakot talaga. So anyway, sige, going back to the thank you very much, Jeff, for joining us for this live stream, especially for the first person flying, especially those who want to start their drone, FPV drone journey. Please check us out, and you can actually go join our community, which is Experience Philippines community, and then you can get more hands-on VIP sessions with Jeff. You can ask him more about it. And also, if you want, you can actually follow Jeff on his social media handles. He's very active in YouTube a lot. He does a lot of educational videos about the FPV drones and how he does it. So there it is. You can follow him on Facebook, Imagination Tech. But I think you're more active in YouTube, no, rather than Facebook, no. So.
Well, if they're gonna send me a message, it's better to send me a message on Facebook. On that link. Yeah.
Yeah. So
if you just want to watch free videos on different topics, how to build your quad, how to fly, do check out the YouTube channel. I have lessons there. I put it in the playlist para organize ng content. So just check that out. Playlist section.
Okay. And also you always come out every Wednesday in Facebook, like the one pack Wednesday, tawin?
I try to do it every Wednesday, pero minsan it's getting harder right now, especially with the new dog. So,
may bago siyang aso. Pet parent na rin pala si Jeff. May anak na rin pala, no?
So, medyo mahirap but I try to do that. I try to put out content every week.
Every week. Yeah. And there it is, the YouTube channel that you can actually see on the screen. Uy, super thank you, Jeff. I really look forward to the collaboration, for more collaboration in the soon, especially the race, the first person viewing and the live stream, especially the VIP sessions as well. We have so much to work on and collaborate as well. So I hope people who watch this, those who are interested, really, it's a very medyo magastos umpisa, pero I think it's worth it naman.
Yeah. Mas magastos, I can definitely see mas magastos umpisa when you're still learning because you're breaking a lot of stuff. And nandun lahat yung investment mo. But I got this 2018, itong controller ko, this radio. So my goggles are really old as well. So there are stuff na parang once you buy it, you can stay on that unless mainggit ka dun sa mga bago, di ba? Which I try not to. Which I try not to mainggit masyado. I mean, my gear are old, but it works, so I don't need to upgrade.
Para kasi nakita ko rin yung sa mga yung mga people who they spend so much for camera, diba? Like lenses, mahal.
Oh yeah, for example, so Canon, diba?
This is really this is actually cheaper than any hobby, and that's diba?
Yeah.
So yeah, cool. Thank you so much, Jeff. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your having time. So again, going back, so you guys follow him on his YouTube channel and all his different social media handles. So again, if you have anything to say, Jeff, please do, and you can invite them as well. Do you have any upcoming activities as well if you want to share?
Well, wala man akong activities na upcoming dahil I'm stuck here in Baguio. But yung
baka people in Baguio want to reach out with you. There might be people who are watching. Like si Winston, I saw Winston. Si Winston.
Si Winston. Kung meron man, magparamdam kayo please dahil ilan lang kami dito. But if you're in Manila, hopefully mag-resume na every Thursday night. Usually meron kami before na Whoop Night session. That's every Thursday night sa San Juan. I don't know if we're going to be able to resume, but do join that kung if you want to learn more or just to watch muna, diba? So that's one way to get started. Ano pa ba? To find yourself a community kasi yun yung that's gonna be very helpful.
In the long run, no?
What I didn't have during the beginning na meron na ngayon. So search for them or send me a message to help you get started.
And they can also join the Experience Philippines community because you're actually there.
Yeah. You can send me a message through there, diba?
Yeah, you're part of it.
Yeah, all right.
Yay! All right. So that's all. That's it for the night, guys. So thank you so much, Mr. Louie.
All right.
I'll see you guys again for the next one. What? Sorry, you're saying?
Thank you very much. Inuman na.
Hindi na, bawal minom. RH. So yun, so maraming salamat guys. Maraming salamat Jeff for taking time. And do tune in for the next ones. We're gonna be having, the upcoming ones are actually quite interesting as well. We have a tarot session, a live tarot session and VIP sessions for tarot reading. It's a co-creator with Mama Lilith. It's actually she's actually a tarot card reader for love and relationships. So people who want to figure out what's going to happen for their 2021 love life, tune in for that. And then we also have skincare for people who want to have the Korean glass skin. Objective, yeah. We invited actually one of my good friends who's a dermatologist, Dr. Mike. He'll be doing a live stream with me, and then he'll be doing a VIP sessions as well on exactly how to take care of your skin. Because there are a lot of cases now that I noticed daw na magaming mga tinatawag na mask me, yung magkaka-acne na because of they're wearing the mask. So that he can actually help. And then
we have dog knee.
Talaga? Meron siyang ano?
Nag-breakout. Si Carl.
Nag-breakout siya? Ay, di baka allergic lang siya. Baka allergic siya. Kasi ako dati allergic ako kay Teo, allergic ako before.
Talaga?
When I started having Teo, allergic pala ako sa aso. Tapos nawala na lang. I had really rashes all over. So, eventually nawala na lang. Kasi nasanay na yung siguro yung nasanay na ako kay Teo. I cannot exist without this dog. So, yeah. So, yun. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next episode of the Online Experience. Bye, Jeff. See you around. Hey, thank you.